Hello, friends. Today we are diving into a very different and astonishing topic. So, this is about a scandal so massive, so shocking that it is hard to believe it happened in the United States in plain sight while government officials look the other way. This is the story of more than $250 million in taxpayer money stolen during the COVID era, a federal investigation that has shaken Minnesota to its core, and hundreds of state workers now pointing their fingers directly at Governor Tim Walz. According to these employees, Wall not only ignored the repeated warnings about the massive fraud inside the Department of Human Services, he allegedly allowed the system to punish the very whistleblowers who tried to stop it. So, guys, what exactly happened? This isn't a small mistake or clerical error. This is one of the largest fraud scheme in the history of Minnesota. Federal prosecutors say criminals created a complex network of fake child hunger programs, filed forged documents, and claimed to be feeding thousands of low income children during the pandemic. But the reality was for different. Those meals never existed. The programs were ghost operations, and the money, your money, taxpayer money, was being diverted into luxury cars, mansions, jewelry, and overseas bank accounts. Some of these funds allegedly make their way to Somalia, and according to federal investigators, a portion may have reached the terror group AI-Shabaab. What makes this story even so disturbing is not just the fraud itself, but what employees inside Minnesota DHS are saying about how easily the warnings begin. Hundreds of staff members, not 110, but hundreds now claim they saw signs of fraud, filed reports, raised concerns, and tried to escalate the issue through the proper channels. They say they were ignored. Worse than ignored, some they face retaliation after sounding the alarm. So careers were stalled, intel complaints were dismissed, warnings were buried, and some staff reported being threatened with discipline for questioning the leadership decisions. So while millions were being siphoned away, the people trying to stop it were allegedly punished, and the people who allowed it continued operation at the highest levels of state government. According to multiple DHS staff statements, this culture of suppression began long before federal agents got involved. They claimed Tim Walz's administration was repeatedly warned about feeding our future network. The group at the center of the scandal was filing suspiciously large reimbursement claims. Some centers were claiming to feed thousands of children away every single day, including during periods when schools were closed and the public movement was restricted. The numbers didn't make sense. Employees knew it, they tried to raise it, but the response, according to them, was silence. It wasn't until the FBI raided more than a dozen locations in 2022 that the fraud was finally exposed to public. By then, the damage has been done of over $250 million. And what's emerging now is a picture of systemic failure, depending on which side you believe. DHS staff are now accusing the governor of ignoring messages, warnings, failing to hold key officials accountable, and even creating an environment where whistleblowers felt unsafe. Federal prosecutors have already indicted dozens of individuals tied to the scheme, many from Minnesota's Somali community who use the COVID relief programs as a cash cow. But prosecutors are also being very clear the fraud network could not have been survived without political cover, weak oversight, and government agencies failing to act. Whatever that failure was, intentional or negligent, is the question now burning across the state. What's even more explosive is the allegation that some of the stolen money was wired overseas to Somalia. Financial investigators are now tracing the transaction that may connect to Al Qaeda group, a terror group responsible for bombings, kidnappings, and attacks across East Africa. If even a fraction of these stolen funds reach them, it means this wasn't just fraud, it was a national security breach. Minnesotans deserve the answers. Americans deserve answer. How did this happen in one of the America's most developed states? How did so many warnings get ignored? Why did whistleblowers feel unsafe? And why is it only now, after years, that the state leadership is being forced to respond? Tonight, I want to make something very clear, guys. The issue here is not about the Somali community as a whole. Millions of hardworking Somali Americans contribute to this country every single day. This scandal is about a small group of criminals who exploited both their community and the US system, and about government officials who failed to catch them, failed to stop them, and allegedly silence those who tried. This scandal is also part of the much bigger pattern across the nation where COVID era relief programs rushed, expanded, loosely monitored, became a magnet for the massive fraud. But few states saw the level of organized theft Minnesota is dealing with today. The fallout is only beginning. As we get deeper into this live stream, we will break down what federal prosecutors have uncovered, what DHS employees are accusing the Walz administration of, what this means for the future of oversight, immigration programs, and public trust. We will also take a close look at the timeline, the individuals charged, the ignored warnings, and the new calls for independent investigations. And yes, we will talk about the accountability because without accountability, this type of fraud will happen again. Maybe bigger, maybe worse, and maybe involving people far more than dangerous than those are already charged. So stay with me, guys, as we expose every layer of this scandal. Stay with me as we examine one of the biggest government oversight failures in the recent US history. And stay with me as we ask the question Minnesota leaders are avoiding. Who allowed this? Who ignored the warnings? And who is responsible for protecting whistleblowers? And how far did the money really go? Because tonight we are not just talking about the fraud, we are talking about the failure and people who were 100% responsible. So, guys, this is a very massive scandal, and this has already started being investigation. So, as we uncover the new details, we will be soon back with the more details on this. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know your thoughts. What do you think on this? If you like this background, kindly give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to our channel for such amazing daily news and updates, breaking updates. Thank you so much for watching.